Hello. Now, if you read our guided reading text last week, then you'll have found out a little bit about the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the ocean. It's located in the Pacific Ocean, and the bottom of it is called Challenger Deep. Now, it's incredibly hard to get there. You can't just swim or dive down to Challenger Deep. It's very cold, it's very dark, but also the pressure is so high it would simply crush us. Okay, so that means that the only way to get there is in very high-tech, very expensive submarines. And in fact, very, very few people have been down to Challenger Deep. In fact, far more people have been to space than have been to the Mariana Trench. What that means is that we don't know a huge amount about it, and we're still learning things about the creatures and what life is like down there all of the time. But people on those submarines have taken videos, have recorded footage of some of the creatures there. And they're very strange creatures. In fact, when you first see them, you'd be forgiven for thinking that they were aliens. But they're not. They're not aliens, they live here on Earth. And they have to be strange. They have to be strange to adapt to the strange conditions of the Mariana Trench. Many of them are bioluminescent. That means that they produce their own light. Remember I said it's very dark down there. They have to be built to withstand the huge amounts of pressure. So all of these things, all of these conditions make them very strange creatures indeed. I hope you're not scared of them, don't be frightened of them. They live miles under the surface of the ocean, and they certainly couldn't survive on land. I hope that you find them really interesting. This is one of my favourite things that we learn about in our Under the Sea topic. Now, as I said, we don't know as much about these creatures as we do about other creatures. That's because so few of them have been seen. Some of the videos I will show you are the only videos ever recorded of those creatures, alright? So not a huge amount is known about them, but I will share with you the facts I do know. So, we're going to go on our trip in our submarine down to the Mariana Trench, and we're going to see some of the weird and wonderful creatures that live down there. I hope you enjoy this. First up, we have the Mariana Trench, or deep sea jellyfish. It doesn't actually have an official name yet, because it was only discovered in 2016, so very little is known about it. However, it appears to be bioluminescent, so it creates its own light, and you can see its sort of yellowy light there. It also has long tentacles, which scientists think it uses to grab its prey so it can eat it. Next up, we're going to see an anglerfish, and the particular kind of anglerfish you're now seeing in this footage is called a black sea devil. It has, perhaps most noticeably, a bioluminescent lure on its head, like a big lamp attached to its head. And the reason for this is so that it can attract prey. Smaller fish see the light, they swim towards it, and then, when the prey gets close, the anglerfish attacks. It has razor-sharp teeth, and it can open its mouth really wide. If you've ever seen the film Finding Nemo, a type of anglerfish appears in the film, when Marlin and Dory follow a light. The Dumbo octopus gets its name from its two large fins, which look a little bit like ears. They are only about 20 centimetres long, less than the size of a ruler that we get in school. They move by flapping their fins around, like you can see in this footage. They are carnivores which feed on snails, worms, and any other creatures they can find on the ocean floor, and they gobble up their prey whole. Now we have another octopus, and this one is the telescope octopus. The telescope octopus is almost invisible. It has transparent flesh, and this helps to keep it hidden from predators, because it's hard to see, it's hard to find. The only parts of its body that it can't make invisible are its digestive glands and its eyes. It has long eyes which pop out of its head, and this is where it gets its name from. Next up we have the comb jelly, and that's comb with a silent B at the end. So, despite its name, the comb jelly is not a type of jellyfish. They are very old, ancient creatures, and they're thought to be at least 500 million years old. They are naturally bioluminescent, as you can see in this footage, so they produce their own light. They can produce blue, green, and even red light too. Over 90% of the comb jelly is made of water. It can become transparent, which allows it to hide from predators. It needs constant food, and if it doesn't get food, it shrinks in size. The vampire squid gets its name from its colour and the fact that it looks a little bit like it's wearing a cape. But despite its scary name, it's actually a pretty chilled out creature. It has no teeth, so it can't bite anything. And it feeds on plankton that it finds drifting around the ocean. It doesn't do much because it doesn't eat all that much, so it always is trying to save its energy. Now, like many other deep-sea creatures, it is bioluminescent, and it produces light so that it can scare off predators.